As someone who's in tune with the One Piece power scaling community, there was always this one particular thing that never made sense to me. And it's actually quite a common thing that people do. And I've always wanted to rant about it. Do people generally believe Oda's thought process in power scaling is, oh, this character has better durability than that character, and this character can just speed blitz that character, and he can't touch him, and his attack power is so much better, this, that. Therefore, he's stronger. How many times have you guys heard these type of arguments in the One Piece community to determine who's stronger between characters? King can stay flames on and is faster than Useless Kid, and Kid can't do anything to damage or hit him, so I think King is stronger. Sanji is way faster than Law, and Law can't land a hit on him, and he will be getting blitzed majority of the fight because Sanji is faster. Law can't use his teleportation with Kroom simultaneously, so how can he hit Sanji? So I think Sanji is stronger. Luffy is weak to slicing attacks, meaning Zoro might put up a good fight against Luffy, so they're definitely closer in strength than you guys might think. Neither King or Sanji are stronger than those respective characters I compared them to, and Zoro and Luffy aren't close in strength because Zoro has a good advantage on Luffy, apparently. No matter how you slice fights and compare characters to each other, this might sound insane, but being able to beat someone in a fight does not make you stronger. Okay, hold up, because that sounded a little bit too retarded, but I meant in the context of this video, and it doesn't necessarily make you stronger all the time, but more times you will see someone beat someone, they'll just be outright stronger than them, especially if it happens in the story. But with the One Piece fans, we don't really get a lot of fights and matchups, so it's a lot of hypothetical things we are doing, and some people let their hypothetical matchups determine who's stronger, which I don't think is the #1 way to look at things. But back to the video. Or having a good matchup against someone doesn't make you generally near them in strength. Although it may be true that Sanji could potentially beat Law in a fight, and King most likely could defeat Kid in a fight, the biggest mistake that this community makes by far is determining who's stronger than who solely on putting them against each other in a fight and not factoring in the matchup aspect and as well as who is viewed superior in the overall verse. Once again, I have to elaborate because my ass is forgetting to do this. By viewed superior, I mean who has the better portrayal and who has done greater things in the One Piece verse. In simple terms, their thought process is like this. King is stronger than Kid, and they would rank him higher in the top 30 strongest characters in One Piece because King can beat him in a fight. This also happens in shows like Jujutsu Kaisen, or anime just in general. People will tell you that Maki is stronger than Hakari because she beats him in a fight. This is what I'm going to call the matchup paradox. That word doesn't best describe what I spoke about, but it makes me sound cool as fuck. Before we continue, make sure you guys take the time to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and if you think you could survive in my Discord, join up. But I will say that it is a ruthless place and I'm not exaggerating, so don't join if you don't want toxicity. Actually, no, I lied. They've been good lately. Join up, come say hi to my guys. When it comes to traditional matchups that show blatant disadvantages for characters like Sanji versus Nami, for example, we all know Sanji won't even be able to hit her. So to say that Nami's stronger because she would kick his ass in a fight doesn't make sense. And most of us can come to that conclusion. But the same sort of logic kind of applies with non-very one-sided matchups. There's also an example I mentioned earlier in Jujutsu Kaisen, for those who are familiar. It's pretty obvious that Maki would probably decimate Hakari in a fight since she's pretty much a hard counter to him. His domain, which he relies on heavily, gets countered by Maki. She wouldn't get registered by Hakari's sure hit effect, which an explanation of the rules is required for him to start rolling Jackpot. So without Jackpot, that brother stands no chance against Maki. But I wouldn't say she's stronger because of that, because she can beat him and he can't even use his strongest form. Because at least to me, it's implied that Hakari is stronger than Maki with direct statements and correlation with Yuta throughout the series. And as we know, Yuta is portrayed to be stronger than Maki. My point here is that with characters in One Piece, even if there's not a blatant disadvantage like Nami versus Sanji, the rule still applies that someone beating you in a fight doesn't always correlate to you being stronger than that said person. When we're talking about these hypothetical fights or matchups that the community makes, even though it may make sense when we're comparing AP and battle IQ or whatever speed, and I'll prove it to you. I love you, my Sanji fans, but I'm gonna dive into that Sanji versus Law example I bring up earlier. Let's break this down from a matchup perspective. I think it's fair to say Sanji is faster than Law. Sanji has shown consistently better speed feats throughout the series. There's nothing that implies that Law can keep up with Sanji's vanishing speed, especially without his Shambles ability. Law's Awakening would be pretty useless because he can't use Shambles and Kroom at the same time, unless he teleports to Sanji and then he applies Kroom right after. But that charge up would take too long for him to land a hit, so I don't think that's possible. So without Shambles, he would struggle to tag Sanji, or if he decides to use Shambles, whatever attack he uses probably won't be effective against Sanji if it's not his awakening attacks. It's safe to assume that Ifrajanbe would do serious damage to Law, because it's safe to assume that he's less durable than Queen. But obviously Law's endurance is one of the best in the series, so he wouldn't get taken down by Sanji's Ifrajanbe. Sanji with speed advantage and decent attack power to overwhelm Law, there is some possible win con for Sanji. Even if you don't agree with Sanji even beating Law in a matchup, I'm specifically talking to the people that do. I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't even know if I believe those arguments I bring up. Low-key, like I just said that right now. I don't even know if that shit's true. Like, I'm gonna be honest. But it's not reasonable to say Sanji is stronger than Law, looking at it from that perspective, the matchup, breaking down who's faster, who's gonna land a hit or whatever. Because Law is the same character who went up against 3 Yonko, who are the strongest pirates in the series. Law being able to react to a high with Kaido and hitting him with an injection shot. Law only winning Blackbeard with his crew helping him and was able to harm Blackbeard to a good degree. Law being responsible for the defeat of Big Mom alongside Kid. Law also getting recognition similar to Sanji's captain by getting a 3 billion berry bounty alongside him. I know recognition and bounty doesn't prove who's stronger because Zoro's stronger than Law and Law has that bounty and Zoro doesn't. But they were both present in the same war, and their impact and portrayal were drastically different. My point is, we shouldn't let our power scaling overwrite what's clearly established in the series. I'm not saying Law has the best feats in the world and they can be overcome. I'm not saying Sanji can be viewed stronger than Law in the near future. But it's too soon based on what Sanji has accomplished and how Sanji has been portrayed versus what Law has accomplished in the series and how he's been portrayed. This is the same thing with the Eustace Kid and King. Kid is shown to be faster than King. By the way, blissing Big Mom isn't a speed feat to me, or should be to anyone. And if you've been around this channel or just understand Big Mom's fighting capability, you understand why. To get King to turn off his flames, your attack power has to be pretty cracked, and Kid's attack power is only really good with Damn Punk, which you would struggle with hitting King with since King is faster and not a stationary target like Big Mom. And also, even for him to land his awakening would be kind of difficult. So all in all, Kid would struggle with getting around King's flames on mode and even hitting King if he takes his flames off. Once again, there's a win con for King beating Kid in a fight. By the way, the example I bring up why King could beat him, I haven't fact checked this. I don't even know if that's real arguments people be saying, but it sounds like it makes sense. But yeah, let's look at it from the same perspective as I did with Law. Kid took down a Yonko Big Mom who's significant levels above King, and yes, even the Onigashima version of her that was lackluster is still better than King by a lot. Kid has feats on her and was able to defeat her with Law, which is a better representation of who's stronger between him and King, since King hasn't done jack shit in the series but get demolished by Zoro as soon as he got Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Let's put King in Kid's shoes against Big Mom. What the fuck is he going to do? He's gonna punch Big Mom really hard, hit her with his dragon attack that we have no idea what he's capable of since it never actually hit anyone. He's gonna kick Big Mom? If you compare them in that perspective, Kid will look stronger than King. Kid has feats on a Yonko, and King has feats on a pre-Advanced Conqueror's Haki Zoro, which Awakening Kid should just be stronger than anyways. My point is, whether Maki beats Hakari in a fight, whether Sanji beats Law in a fight, whether King beats Kid in a fight, it does not determine who's stronger in the overall verse, because of outside of these power scaling matchups, those characters have just done better things in the series, and most of the time, have better portrayal. So yeah, hope this video ends this match scaling nonsense in general. I see some people telling me King is stronger than Kid for reasons like that. It don't even make sense. Like, I get the matchup stuff, you need it sometimes and it makes sense, and that is a proper way to determine who's stronger in certain scenarios, but you gotta look at the big picture. You gotta look at who's just that guy compared to everybody, not just one person. But yeah guys, that's it. Take care, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.